Yeah, this is Point Black, coming hard and off the car, coming with the flow, straight from the barrel, and coming with the heat to the damn street. This is PBNN, Point Black National News, the late and the great edition and the ghetto edition as well, because this is what we must do. You know what I'm saying? This is what we must do. We must bring the backs to crack backs and the boom bip to the line ass lips. You know what I'm saying? This is PBNN, Point Black National News, the late and the great edition. You know what I'm saying? The late and the great edition. And today we are looking at a very tough subject that came on the board, seems to be getting a lot of attention on this when it comes to, when it comes to this subject. You know what I'm saying? And it's a subject, a very, very touchy subject that needs to be looked at in many ways. You know what I'm saying? In many, many ways it needs to be looked at because a lot of people have a tendency to make things into what they want it to be. This is one thing they do. You know what I'm saying? And then they want everybody else to look at it as if they didn't do nothing wrong. They didn't do it. You know, what are you talking about? You're crazy. You know, he's talking out of his head, you know? And then when that don't work, they try other means and ways to call you a nut job, just so the people will not pay you any attention, you know, in more ways than one on what we see going on, you know, on what we see going on in this matter, you know. And a lot of people do that. You can expect that out of crooked, wicked, Luciferian type individuals as well. They will make you believe that they're doing nothing wrong, but you're doing everything. You know what I'm saying? When we look at it in more ways than one. So we have to start looking at this in a better in looking at this in a better light, a way better light. And this is one of the matters that has come up on the table that needs to be looked at. You know, it needs to be looked at because there is no way for people to sit up here and continue to play the same game that we have been playing for all these many years. You know what I'm saying? All these many years, the same bull over and repeatedly. You know what I'm saying? And we just don't understand why it is that people, wants to make it that way. Want to make it that way. We've got to stop this. We've got to stop this. And one of the main subjects that came up is very controversial as well. You know what I'm saying? Especially when it comes to race and different stuff like that. People have a tendency to play games or play a lie as if it's a reality and play it for many, many, many years as long as they keep getting away with it and nobody says anything. And when somebody says something or anybody jumps up to speak up on any of the matters, it's not looked at. It's just looked at as anti-Semitic or hate speech. You know what I mean? And stupidness like that. You know what I'm saying? And to them, you shouldn't have no grievance as long as we rocking you behind. You know what I'm saying? That's the way they look at it. You know, that's the way they look at it. You know, they look at it as if you ain't supposed to say nothing. Say what? And this is a big problem. You know what I'm saying? This is a big problem. You know, that we must look at. We've got to start looking at many things that seems to be, some kind of movement that they're adapting to that they want us to accept, but not to say that it is wrong. You know what I'm saying? And this has a lot to do with why you see America is in the position that the United States is in the position that it is in right now. You know what I'm saying? It's not because, the American people necessarily want to see all this conspiracy and corruption. No, no, they don't at all. You know what I'm saying? No, they don't at all. They want to be able to, raise their family and so on. But we have many that comes with many types of discrimination and want to pass it and shove it down everybody else's throat. You know, and that doesn't make sense. That doesn't make sense. You know, it does not make sense how they choose to do this type of damage to the United States in the world as a whole and expect that it's supposed to just, go away. It's not supposed to touch your mind. You're not supposed to have any say with it. You know what I mean? And I don't understand why it is so. But when we look at the situation, this situation here actually has a sense of urgency that needs to be looked at in this matter. And that matter must have some way of rectifying it on all grounds. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of Africans who call themselves Muslims. You know what I'm saying? We have a lot of black people that go around calling themselves a Muslim. You know what I'm saying? And this situation took place, must have been not too long ago, maybe 10 hours ago or so. You know what I'm saying? 10 hours, by Jenny Bowers, uh, Batney, 10 hours ago Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? We see where, Fox outnumbered, salute Democrats, demon Democrats blasting far left academy, you know what I'm saying? You know, I guess is patently unacceptable or potentially unacceptable, whatever graduation speech. You know what I'm saying? And in her speech, the co-host of Fox, you know what I'm saying, outnumber, applause noble New York demon Democrats for denouncing the SUNY Law School graduate diverse, I guess, speech or diverse speech, you know what I'm saying, calling for a revolution against racism, Zionism, and capitalism. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one, we see these factors are a element within our government and within our United States. And many wants to act like these things don't exist. You know what I'm saying? But the organization do. And racism all over the world. And promoting it to the point where even when we look at the covert mines, you know what I'm saying, where they're getting the lithium materials and stuff to make, we see newly that was found out to be, an enslavement bullshit. My question is, where's the Africans to free their people? You know what I'm saying? And it seems to have this diverse, this type of hatred, even in Africa, where you will leave African people still under the guise of slavery of the Arab. Why? You know what I'm saying? And many others, and continue to do nothing about it. It ain't supposed to be talked about, ain't supposed to be recognized, ain't supposed to be put on blast or none of that. Same when we look at racism, Zionism, and capitalism. You know what I'm saying? But we know there is a lot. And most of the demon Democrats step up. Emily, I guess her name is Cabrizano or whatever, tweeted from forms, little tweets from the demon Democrats like Mayor form Democrats. Like, I guess they got together. I guess some there, Eric Cueball, greasy head, racist to me, Adams, in more ways than one. That's number one. So don't think that he escaped because his skin is black. You know what I'm saying? State Representative, whatever her name is, Ekich or whatever, Representative Richie Torres, demon Democrat again, slamming the speech, what I'm saying, which received cheers and applause from the attendees. You know what I'm saying? Why is you slamming the speech if you cannot prove that what she said is not true? That's the problem. When you pull these type of demon democratic stunts, you act as if like, what I'm saying, what people are saying is a complete lie, and you jump all over it and condemn it as if you have the nuts and the bolts to all that you're speaking about, or all that you're condemning in more ways than one. But when we look at it, what it is that you really are condemning is the question. You know what I'm saying? Is the question. So we're trying to figure out, why would you jump all over her speech, but you have not proved to anyone at all anything. And this is what the demon Democrats and certain Republicans as well have been doing. They say and sing and dance and speech out their mouth and carry on and all this different stuff, but they never have to prove anything to anybody, nor do they have to be justify their actions as to the damage in which their action or affiliation to a secret society or some secret group, or what I'm saying, or Zionists, or whatever group they belong to, even capitalism. You know what I'm saying? Capitalism is not based on a free market. It's based on a market where they manipulate, what I'm saying, the books, you know what I'm saying, and put it in their favor when they were no more than a broke cat on the side of the sidewalk. You know what I'm saying? And you put into place capitalism and these different things to make sure that they stay in power over us. And this is something that we have to start to look at in more ways than one. You see? We have to start looking at that in more ways than one. Even when we look here at, saying, the co-host of the Fox News outnumbered applause, Noble New York Demon Democrats denouncing the SUNY Law School graduates diverse for the speech calling for revolution against this. But we see where these demon Democrats now stepping up and saying, they slammed the speech, which received cheers and applause from the attendees. And we see Mayor Greasy Head, cue ball, stupid ass, cue ball, whatever he is, Eric Adams, say that he cannot allow words of negativity, and diversiveness to be the only one our students hear. But what the problem is what we're hearing coming from your side, not the SUNY students. Your side has put the students in this matter to speak up about something that is deadly wrong and have been wrong for many, many years. While you sit there and act as if, like, you're supposed to just get away with it anyway. You know what I mean? When we look at it. But we see that is something that you know what I'm saying, and in yourself has projected into this world. You act as if like you never did anything at all. You know what I'm saying? And everybody else did everything else. You know what I'm saying? And then, like I said, when you speak about it, you're supposed to be the idiot in the crowd. You know what I'm saying? The idiot in the crowd. But we see he's trying to say he can't accept these words. You know what I'm saying? New York Assembly, Mitchak, or whatever, Heckenstein tweeted, the hateful and dangerous speech is not hateful and it's not dangerous. You know what I'm saying? What is dangerous is one who projects an image that is the one that does the damage and the hate and the killing and the shit, but put it in a legal and smooth way that people don't see it outside of their daily lives, rushing to work and trying to keep a dollar in their pocket. You know what I'm saying? Talking about hateful and dangerous. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, what's hateful and dangerous is a demon Democrat of what you have done for 47 years to this country and better is what dangerous and still growing, especially as you know, they keep talking about how AI is advancing rapidly and fast. I know this, you know what I'm saying? But we see the hateful and dangerous speech is what they're trying to call it. I don't call it that. Has been brought to you by Sunni and paid for by New York payers. Well, New York payers need to start to wake up because guess what? You're paying a whole hell of a lot of taxes and a lot of bull that you have been doing, and you still sitting up there. I guess don't see anything. You know what I'm saying? And this from Demon Democrats Congressman Richie Torres. Imagine being, listen to what his stupid ass statement and wordplay he would say. Imagine being so crazy by hatred for Israel as a Jewish state that you make it the subject of a commemorance speech at a law school graduate. This is potentially unacceptable or whatever he's trying to say. You know what I'm saying? Coming in by compaginal or whatever. You don't have, first of all, using a race in this matter is not acceptable by calling out the name and so forth. We know, and we know what took place there. You know what I'm saying? And we don't need to be doing no hate speech against anyone. What we need to do is have them to have them in all states, all nations, to look at the situation for what it is. See, they do things and think that nobody sees it. They educate you and blind you over here talking about equality and good education and this and that. Meanwhile, they're lying to you in every forms that they can find to keep your mind occupied away from what they are doing across the world and the globe as a whole. You know what I'm saying? We have to start to look beyond our noses and look at these things all the way through. You know what I'm saying? We have to start to give back the rights to who these things and land and places belong to. You know what I'm saying? We cannot have, you know what I'm saying, Africa as everybody's breadbasket to where you move in there and you remove the Africans by force and by murder, bloody murder, in order to occupy the land. You know what I'm saying? So when we look at it, she's saying that Marty Line point out that the commencement speaker, uh, Fatima Musa Mohammed, now I'm seeing, which is probably Arab, was, or Palestine or whatever, because they follow the same thing, sometimes was, you know, chosen by her class to give the speech. The one times of Israel report that Muhammad was a member of a Sunni law chapter of Students for Justice in Palestine. You know what I'm saying? And we know where the conflict goes with that, but we see it still leads to the same thing. There is no overstanding of making these things correct because in one way, you know what I'm saying, we see the former lectern, Mohammed said she chose the city University of New York precisely because it is one of very few institutes created to recognize that the law is a manifestation of white supremacy that continues to oppress and suppress the people in this nation and around the world. She has a point. She has a point. And she has a big, huge reality point in many ways of what she's saying. But people continue to play naive and stupid and don't give a damn and divided that they allow many things that were said to them to be believable when they are not. They haven't stopped to check the facts. They haven't done no research. They haven't looked into a damn thing other than just being a follower and a believer like a little child in a fairy tale story. You know what I'm saying? And then run with it as if it's reality. Run with it and do violence against people, and the rest of the world don't get to see it while we going on with our lives and living here. We don't get to see what they're doing there and what they have done there. And I bet you if a lot of people was to see a lot of what was going on around the world, it'll probably make you throw up. You know what I'm saying? Especially when you realize who was involved and who led the charge. You know what I'm saying? She continued. We are in the class that organized, we're in a class that organized against using, Lexus, and Lexus, a legal research company, contracted with ICE, and we did all of this in spite of racism, in spite of selective activism, and self-serving interests of SUNY Central, an institute that continues to fail us, that continues to train and cooperate with fascism, NYPD, the military. No longer will we, you know, I guess, what is you saying? Capitulatus? Capitulus? Or capulate or whatever? I don't know. You know what I'm saying? No longer will we, go along with it, capitulate to oppressors. No longer are we going to put our hopes in their depraved consciousness. You know what I'm saying? Muhammad and her speech by saying the joy and the joy and excitement that fill the auditorium, may it be the fuel for the fight against capitalism, racism, imperialism, Zionism around the world. It's such a fantasy land that these guys live in. Oh, said, it's a fantasy land that you live in. Talking your demon Democrat, talking about his last name is Compagno. You know what I'm saying? Whatever nutcase word that is, you know what I'm saying? One filled and fueled by hatred. Yeah, the one fueled by hatred is the one that you brought your kind and many other brought into Africa and the United States as a whole. So what you talking about? You know what I'm saying? They act as if like they're so innocent and they didn't do anything, and they're not backing up or facilitating these crooks and these people in the garbage that they're doing. You know what I'm saying? To where you would call her or this speech hatred. You know what I'm saying? We have to, whenever they call something hatred, it's true. You know what I'm saying? That's how you know. I'm saying, because when you do the fact checking and all of that, you realize that what is being said is true by the students. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? But it's not to be doing that in no shit because, like I said, it's the same thing we see going on now in Ukraine. You know what I'm saying? They're not sitting up there talking about any diplomatic or, you know what I'm saying, dialogue to me that really should be ending that, and that should have been over by now. You know what I'm saying? Instead, we have them with the debt ceiling wide open, taking taxpayers' dollars, raising the taxes, raising the gas, getting all this money coming in, and sending it over to fuel a war in Ukraine by sending them arms and weapons. And we're supposed to agree with this and don't see nothing wrong. We're supposed to automatically accuse Russia of everything, and they're so guilty. Oh my God. And that's the way it's supposed to be because that's the way they want you to think it's supposed to be. But nobody's looking at an all around picture to the whole situation, in which is more dangerous than even the joke and the running back and forth with the political nonsense that make any sense at all, other than cleaning up that situation and ending that war altogether. You know what I'm saying? And all nations must understand this. You know what I'm saying? You out there genociding and doing all types of crazy shit. And they've been talking about Zionist capitalism, all this different stuff since I was a young man. You know what I'm saying? And I'm 60 years old just about. You know what I'm saying? And then when I was like 5 and 6, they was talking the same garbage because they were actually doing this to people. You know what I'm saying? Like we supposed to justify slavery as a conduct. You know what I'm saying? We see even Steve Malone, you know what I'm saying, you know, is I guess he's extending the state of emergency in Riverhead as Malone issued order admit at coordinating temporary housing, you know what I'm saying, I guess for migrants in Riverhead. You know what I'm saying? Temporary housing for asylum seekers. Oh, yeah, he's a demon Democrat. I expected him to do that as well. You know what I'm saying? This whole asylum seeking thing is no more to me than some form of replacement or protection based on flooding the country with these people and making sure that they protect them and keep them in power. That's what a demon, because the demon Democrats don't like to come out of their position. But we have to start taking away their tenants from them. They should not be allowed to be there, you know what I'm saying, without making true logical sense of anything. And the border crisis is not a logical sense. It's an overtaking of this country by their affiliation that they're going to swing these people into voting for them and keeping them in power. You know what I'm saying? Because they know they lost touch definitely with the American people, and they knew by what they were about to do and what they were going to do, and the revenge and the different stuff and the Luciferian nonsense that they were going to do. You know what I'm saying? Which we saw in 2020 all the way up to 2024. In many ways, even when we saw, saying this pandemic came in. You know what I mean? We still see a lot of this nonsense. You know what I'm saying? And all that it is to, like I said, keep them in power. That's what this whole game is about. You know what I'm saying? That's why they want millions of them over here, because now they could simply say as demon Democrats to these millions of asylum seekers and so forth, which they're going to turn their back on them eventually. But, you know what I'm saying? They could tell, but in their mind, they're going to have that, oh yeah, the demon Democrats saved me and I come to America and I love them so. And next thing you know, they're going to be voting what? Demon Democrat. You know what I'm saying? So in more ways than one, it's more than one different set of plans they have for these people. Why you see they're justifying a border breakdown, you know what I'm saying, rather than a Trump build-up. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. They want to try to say that Trump building the wall to keep us in, you know what I'm saying? And they want to say that the even Democrats want open borders all around America. But you don't have open borders around all other countries. A lot of countries don't have open borders like that, but America wants to be Mr. Open Border all of a sudden, letting in asylum seekers. And they're not asylum seekers, they're being driven by some type of political secret coup game that they're playing to drive them over here to fill up the country and so forth and so. But as we see, the garbage is now being, done. You know what I'm saying? In one ways and one. So, like I said, I never trust Stephen Malone in no shape or form anyway. You know what I'm saying? Because he's a demon Democrat and he runs right down the bridge with it. Like I said, even Zabi went on his head, you know what I'm saying? But we switch the subject on Black TikTok goes viral after calling white woman one of the most dangerous groups in the United States. You know what I'm saying? From what we see coming on TikTok, you know what I'm saying? By News One staff 7 hours ago, Eastern Standard Time. You know what I mean? In more ways than one. You know what I'm saying? We see a lot of this going on with these people acting as if like, there isn't a whole bunch of garbage going on anyway. You know what I mean? But it is. It is a lot of garbage. And we see it all the time. You know what I'm saying? But we see a black woman on TikTok has gone viral for controversial video over the Memorial Weekend. A user named Black Girl Target took tragic or whatever took to the platform to share her thoughts about the polarized city bike debacle involving a white Bolivar's worker named Sarah Cormier and a young black rider. You know what I'm saying? We saw that situation, and I don't think that was, it should have been over. Ain't nobody gonna sit here talking about that. You know what I'm saying? Nobody gonna sit here talking about that. We see Ken Burns draw uh, parallels between World War II and today in the U.S. and the Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? You can't draw the two same things. You cannot draw that. I don't care what he says. He's word playing, and he's using this atrocity that they're supposed to have committed in Germany or Hitler, whatever his name, and keep running it as if like that was the only Holocaust in the whole world. You know what I'm saying? So what do you call the black experience when they did that to black people? That wasn't a Holocaust. He probably genocided many black people, different groups. You know what I mean? We see Elon Musk warns house prices are set to plunge and say commercial real estate is in meltdown. Well, of course, because y'all set it up to fall that way. You set it up to fall that way. And that's why they can make these predictions. You know what I'm saying? If you making predictions that's supposed to have a natural overstanding to where it just messed up in the market somewhere, well, who did that? Because there's no way that can happen without orchestration. You know what I'm saying? Without orchestration, in more ways than one. We see a lot of this going on, and we know for well that the orchestration is done by them. There is no way you're gonna sit here and tell me that isn't so. But we see here going back to this Ken Burns, draws parallel between this World War II and today's in the U.S. and the Holocaust. You know what I'm saying? We see he starts off with Joe McGovern, 8 hours ago Eastern Standard Time, the rap, news. We see where President Franklin Roosevelt, in a moment of fury and, exasperation or whatever you call it, a year before America entered the Second World War. You know what I'm saying? Confident, conf- conf- confined or whatever, I don't know, in the Treasury, confidence in Treasury Secretary Henry uh, Morgano Morgentor Jr. If I should die tomorrow, I want you to know this, FDR said. I'm absolutely convinced that Charles Lindbergh is a Nazi. You see how they was running it? That is one of many shattering moments in the U.S. and the Holocaust, and so forth in trailing 7 hour PBS, I guess disclosure, whatever they was doing, discourse series or whatever, directed by Ken Burns and Lynn Novick and Sarah Bastille all at the same time. You know what I mean? But in that situation, the people that he just mentioned, even that was in leadership at the time, it was corrupted as hell. You know what I'm saying? They have been corrupting our government, even going back to Roosevelt. Roosevelt is guilty of a lot of shit. He ain't no innocent. You know what I'm saying? Because, like I said, they always want you to justify or praise their tyrants. You know what I'm saying? Praise their tyrants. Even when you see, Mr. Bumphead Musk stood up there with his foolishness. You know what I'm saying? Zora, Tavy, or whatever, 16 hours ago, Market Insider. You know what I'm saying? He said, brace it. This is Elon Musk's words. Brace for intense pressure on commercial real estate, you know what I'm saying, to spread to house prices. I must say commercial real estate is melting down fast. Home values next. The tech billionaire tweet investors are worried about real estate in a period of higher interest rates and tightening lending. Yeah, because that's what Joe Biden and them did. This is how they do their shit. Why they could talk about these things. Because these things were set up to fall that way. Period. You know what I'm saying? To fall that way. Period. So they sit up there and they do these things. You know what I mean? And then you should understand by now as a grown folks what we call the domino effect. That's point of facts. The domino effect. But we see climate activists from North Carolina and New York charged with conspiracy to damage National Gallery of Arts. You know what I'm saying? National Gallery of Arts. You know, we're not going to even get into that. New leader emerged in 2024 presidential poll. You know what I'm saying? We see a new leader. New leader has emerged. This is coming in 6 hours ago Eastern Standard Time of the Daily News Now. We see in this one a new leader, a new presidential poll shows new leader emerges in 2024. Yeah, can you imagine? A new leader has emerged in recent release polls showing a flip in key states for the 2024 Republican presidential primary, with President Donald J. Trump and Florida Ron DeSantis, you know what I'm saying, swapping positions in the polls from just 3 months prior. Now, Trump has regained his lead in the state of California, ri- uh, rising back ahead, rising back ahead of DeSantis following, you know what I'm saying, the campaign announcement, last week. Trump leads in the Golden State. We see the President of the United States, Donald J. Trump, Trumpy Beard, now leads in a hypocritical 2024 Republican presidential primary in California, leading DeSantis 44% to 26, a large, discrepancy for the president of the United States. You know what I'm saying? The polls was conducted by the University of California, Berkeley Institute of Government Studies, IGS, from May 17 to May 22nd. You know what I'm saying? And you can hear the echo in here. That's mean you got some kind of setup going on. But we don't care. The polls show a huge flip from IGS polls 3 months prior, which gave the lead to DeSantis. In that poll, Trump trailed the Florida governor by 8 points, with DeSantis carrying 37 of those polls and Trump 29. You know what I'm saying? The results indicate just how difficult it is for Republican candidate to gain traction with Trump in the running. No, it is not. With Trump in the running is running just right. Even in California, where a majority of voters view Trump unfavorably. Why? Because you lied on him and you did all kind of criminal shit, and you probably, you just hate the fact that he might win again and clean your behinds up. You know what I'm saying? Unfavorably for what? You don't unfavorably even Democrats, but you're talking about looking at Trump unfavorably, and you don't look at Biden, Kamala, or none of them unfavorably as to what they have done to the border in our country as a whole, even when it comes all the way up to Russia in that White House. Okay, so you keep on being el stupido in California, Luciferian in that part city. You know what I'm saying? His presence looks large with Republican voters feeling he is being treated unfairly in the courts and public opinion. The IGS co-director Christina, you know what I'm saying, Mora said in the press release announcing the findings. And we don't give a flying crap because it still comes down to the people in the end. Man, but we should be making better decisions as to candidates if nobody's going to step up other than them. And like I said, one of the seasoned players in the game is the Chubby Bear. Baby. You know what I'm saying? He can bring the heat that we need in this matter. Not only that, it will clear up a lot of things that is sitting on our table, especially when it comes to nuclear war. You know what I'm saying? Because I don't see black people stepping up. You know what I mean? The cue ball Greasy Head Adams is the closest we can get. You know what I'm saying? We in trouble for sure. But Greasy Head cue ball Adams ain't no more than a damn sellout and probably a plant. It don't matter how many years he sit there, you know what I'm saying, to where he got to this point. A plant is a plant. And you should know how that works. You know what I'm saying? That's why I said we got to start working on some of these tenants where they're sitting up there for 40, 50, 60 years carrying out their friggin' plans and then bringing in all kinds of greasy cue ball dudes that are sitting in the wing waiting to come in and do the same bullshit. You gonna tell me Greasy Head Cue Ball Adams is the only black man we saw running for mayor? There was no other one? What's going on here with black people is what we're gonna have to understand. Y'all gotta shake it off. Man, Greasy Head Adams brought 60 migrants to other parts of New York and gets a mixed reaction. Yeah, that's what I'm trying to tell you. You're going to get plenty of mixed reactions, but he's going to keep doing it because he's a part, Kathy Hassa and him is a part of the Luciferian garbage plan to keep them in power. You know what I'm saying? I don't care how it goes. Even if, you know what I'm saying, you look at 80% or 100% of people is in this position of what we saw going on. And then now you got the migrants coming in here by the millions, and then you start calling them asylum seekers when you know for well their government and your government is in cahoots together, where they drove those people and tell them to do this and come over and all this and that. They call in every honky dory they can find this Mexico. You know what I'm saying? We see the bullshit, but people need to wake up to it. It's important that they do. We see the FBI records shed records of conversation with Twitter over election misinformation. You know what I'm saying? In more ways than one. You know, coming down the pipe, coming in by Gabe uh, Kaminsky 14 hours ago, coming off the Washington Examiner. We see the FBI is blocking a release of records, you know what I'm saying, of official privately advising Twitter employees to advising Twitter employees on how to thwart purported election misinformation on social media platforms, documents show. But we know for well they were doing that. it wasn't even just misinformation on platforms. It was misinformation about the election as a whole. You didn't show no clarity on nothing to do with the election. That's a fact. Because we knew for well that y'all were cheating the election and what you was going to do. I was just waiting to see that. Because I knew you were going to do that. I guess they were like, they were going to do some old Honest Joe shit. Honest Joe might be high. They were going to cheat the election. Mm. Who American? They were going to cheat the election. And that's 100. You know what I'm saying? That's 100. That we do know.